Welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Rita Inung coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu condoles with FIRS, UBA over Afriland fire tragedies. Akwa Ibom State Government invites applications from medical experts for contractual appointments. Plus, Donald Trump to meet Starmer after hailing second U.S. state visit as the highest honor at banquet. Stay tuned for details of these stories in a moment. Good afternoon and many thanks for staying tuned. We'll begin the news from the national scene where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed deep condolences to the families of victims and the management of the staff of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the United Bank for Africa following Tuesday's fire outbreak at Afriland Building Street, Lagos Road. Reports say that 7 victims have been confirmed dead after the fire incident at the tower. The victims were said to have died in hospitals across the state, where they had been rushed to after being evacuated from the high-rise building. Among the victims were the 4 staff members of FIRS, which occupies the 6th and 7th floors of the towers. In a statement signed by Bayo Onanuga, the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Tinubu commiserated with the Afriland Properties Limited, FIRS, and UBA over the loss of lives. He extended sympathy to those injured who are receiving medical attention. In the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced the suspension of emergency rule in Rivers State. Tinubu, who announced this in a statement he signed, explained that the intelligence available to him, there was a new spirit of understanding, readiness and potent enthusiasm on the part of all the stakeholders in Rivers State for an immediate return to democratic governance. This, he said, was a welcome development for him and a remarkable achievement for the country, noting that the Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the Deputy Governor Ngozi Umma Odu, members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and the Speaker Martins Amawule will resume work from today. The President commended the National Assembly for taking steps immediately as required by the Constitution to approve the declaration in the interest of peace and order in Rivers State after critically evaluating the justification for the proclamation. In a related development, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, has hailed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for restoring democratic governance to Rivers by lifting the emergency rule imposed on the state. Wike, who said the president had once again demonstrated total commitment to peace and sustenance of democracy in the country, said his proactive action saved the state. In a statement by his senior special assistant SSA on public communications and social media, Lere Olayinka, the FCT minister said the president's intervention has further restored the confidence of the peoples of Rivers State in his leadership. He commended the people of the state for their belief in the president and their continuous support for him in his tireless efforts to return the country to the path of progress and development. He further called on all stakeholders in the state to work together harmoniously in the collective interest of the state and its people. Away from that, Vice President Kashim Shettima has said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to invest in the youth and the transformation of the education sector. Shatima, who stated this when he received a delegation from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Nigeria on a courtesy visit in Abuja, added that the president had redefined the concept of modern leadership in Nigeria. He further stated that the government was committed to working with UNICEF to advance some of the initiatives of the federal government, which include the Nutrition 774 initiative, economic and financial inclusion, the Nutrition Intervention Fund, amongst others. In a separate development, First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has reiterated her aversion to provocation and the aggression of war, stressing the urgent need for greater understanding among the nations of the world. Tinubu made the remark when she received the Qatari ambassador to Nigeria, Albin Al-Hajri, in Abuja. Reacting to the recent attack in Doha, the First Lady described peace as a divine principle shared across major religions and central to humanity's survival, adding that only through mutual respect and dialogue could nations avert crisis and promote stability. The meeting, held behind closed doors, explored fresh areas of collaboration between the Renewed Hope Initiative and the Qatar Foundation for Education, Science and Community Development, focusing particularly on improving the Al-Majri system of education and tackling the challenge of out-of-school children in Nigeria. In another development, the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAC) has disbursed 2.22 trillion naira as federation revenue for August 2025, the highest ever allocation to the three tiers of government and other statutory recipients. The revenue shared the August 2025 FAC meeting in Abuja was buoyed by increases in oil and gas royalty, value-added tax, VAT, and common external tariff set levies. According to a communique issued at the end of the meeting, out of the 2.22 trillion naira total distributable revenue, 1 trillion naira came from statutory revenue, 672.9 billion naira from VAT, 32.3 billion naira from the electronic money transfer levy, and 41.2 billion naira from exchange difference. The communique revealed that gross federation revenue for the month stood at 3.6 trillion naira, and from the amount, 124.8 billion naira was deducted as cost of collection, while 1 trillion naira was set aside for transfers, interventions, refunds and savings. From the statutory revenue of 1.47 trillion naira, the federal government received 684.4 billion naira, state governments received 347.1 billion naira, and local government councils received 267.6 billion naira. A further 179.3 billion naira, 13% of mineral revenue, went to oil-producing states as derivation revenue. Elsewhere, the federal government has disbursed a 330 billion naira directly to households under its social protection program. This was disclosed during a press conference in Abuja by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, stating that the initiative is designed to cushion the impact of recent economic reforms on poor and vulnerable Nigerians, with payment made in 3 tranches of 25,000 naira per household. He explained that the target is to reach 15 million households, with each household receiving 25,000 naira in 3 tranches. Edun also confirmed that the program will be institutionalized and captured in the nation's annual budget, noting that the move is to ensure continuity, transparency and accountability in the government's support to the most vulnerable Nigerians. On pension matters, pensioners of the Federal Civil Service in the Nigerian Union of Pensioners has said it may protest non-implementation of the 32,000 naira increase in their pension on the first day of October 2025. According to the pensioners, they said that the 70,000 minimum wage has been implemented, but they have been deprived of the increase. In a statement in Abuja, The national president, Frederick Ogwaba, said despite approval of 58 billion naira for the increase, the Federal Ministry of Finance and Office of the Accountant General of the Federation are yet to comply. Igwaba stressed that the union officials are demanding the release of the 58 billion naira approved by the president to ensure compliance and implementation of the increase in payment of the 7 to 8 months arrears owed to them, adding that they are giving the government 2 weeks to meet their demands or they will protest. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reiterated its commitment to inclusive democracy with a strong emphasis on increasing women's participation in politics and party leadership. The declaration was made by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, during an advocacy visit in Abuja. Yakubu stressed that INEC operates as an equal opportunities institution, noting that more than half of the Commission's departmental leadership is held by women, highlighting the institutional framework to supporting gender inclusion. The INEC boss revealed that the Commission has a dedicated department of gender and inclusivity and a gender policy that is regularly updated. He further urged political parties to engage more on the importance of promoting women within their leadership structures. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Government is inviting applications for contract appointments from highly skilled and willing experts from engagement as medical consultants, specialists, medical officers, medical laboratory scientists, pharmacists and nurses. A release signed by the head of the Civil Service, Elder Efyong Essien, said qualified medical and health experts in the above listed fields who retired from active service effective 1st January 2015 till date, but with interest to work on contract appointments, are requested to submit application to the chairman, Akwa Ibom State Civil Service Commission, Idongesit Nkanga Secretariat, Uyo, with 2 weeks from today. According to the release, the contract appointment opportunities align with Governor Umoino's declaration of a state of emergency in the healthcare sector and in line with the ARISE agenda. The ARISE sector management aimed at facilitating policy intervention to bolster healthcare services delivery in Akwa Ibom State. And now to Africa, where a top police official who claimed that South Africa's police and justice system has been infiltrated by criminal syndicates took the stand at a government-backed probe into the allegations. Recall that KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nahanlea Nikwa-Nazi said at a news conference in July that some top politicians and police officials were interfering in the sensitive police investigations in the interest of criminal syndicates and drug cartels. His claims caused a public outcry and led to the Commission of Inquiry being appointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa. During his opening statement yesterday, Nikwa-Nazi said that he would show the extent of the threat to the country's criminal justice system. And on the foreign scene, Donald Trump is preparing to meet Keir Starmer at his country's estate later. As the state visit shifts from the royal pageantry to political talks, the leaders will hold a joint news conference. At a state banquet last night, Trump told gathered royals the second state visit was one of the highest honors of his Hicks life, while the king praised the president's personal commitment to finding solutions to some of the world's most intractable conflicts. Meanwhile, the grand meal came at the end of a day of pageantry, where the president was welcomed to Windsor by the king and queen and a lineup of senior royals. And still on the foreign scene, Australia, one of the world's biggest polluters per capita, will aim to cut its carbon emissions by at least 62% compared to 2005 levels over the next decade. The nation, which has faced global criticism for its continued reliance on fossil fuels, had previously pledged to reduce greenhouse gases by 43% by 2030. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said when unveiling the new target that this is a responsible target supported by science and a practical plan to get there, built on proven technology. Meanwhile, a landmark assessment risk commissioned by the government this week warned Australia faced a future increasingly extreme weather conditions as a result of man-made climate change. The Prime Minister will confirm the commitment at a meeting of the UN General Assembly in New York later this month. And still to come in the news. U.S. sprint star Kelly joins drug-fueled enhanced games. Stay tuned for details of this in a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned, and now we go back to the rest of the news stories. On our business news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has congratulated Miriam Idris on her appointment as the Nigeria's national representative to the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries (OPEC), announcing the development in an official statement on its X handle. NNPC said Idris's new role marks a pivotal step in representing Nigeria's interest within the influential cartel of oil-producing nations. NNPC added that her appointment is expected to strengthen Nigeria's voice on production quotas, pricing stability, and sustainable energy policies amid volatile global oil dynamics.
Are we good?
Mm-mm. And now to sports, where Liverpool produced a dramatic 3-2 win over Atletico Madrid. The Reds scored twice within 6 minutes. Andrew Robinson struck first after being settled by Mohamed Salah before Salah himself doubled the lead from a Ryan Gravenberch assist. Atletico fought back with Marcos Llorente pulling one back and later adding a second through a deflected strike just before half-time. Liverpool pushed hard, with the decisive moment being when Virgil van Dijk rose highest to head home a Sobozan corner. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich proved too strong for Chelsea in the Champions League encounter. The host struck first when Trevoh Chalobah turned the ball into his own net under pressure. Harry Kane then doubled the advantage from the penalty spot after a VRA review confirmed a foul inside the box. Chelsea responded quickly as Cole Palmer finished off a counter-attack in the 29th minute. The Blues thought they had equalized late on, but VRA ruled Palmer's effort as an offside. On our entertainment news, American rapper Cardi B has confirmed that she is expecting a child with her partner, Stefan Diggs. In a pre-taped interview, the rapper made the confirmation stating that she is in a good space and excited about balancing her career while creating life. She further revealed that the baby is due before her upcoming tour in February 2026. And that's all we have for you on the news at 12. Do ensure that you follow us on all our social media platforms, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 12. I am Rita Inung. Do enjoy the rest of your day.